Grumpy Old Geeks, a weekly talk show hosted by Brian Schulmeister and Jason DeFilippo, discussing the finer points of what went wrong on the internet and who's to blame.
Welcome to Grumpy Old Geeks. I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister.
So after last episode, Brian, I went and got the Waymo app to see if I could get, my driverless taxi ride here in Los Angeles, and it has not gotten to everywhere in LA County like they said it did. So I am still out of luck.
No. There was a map on that story. It was definitely just one specific part of Los Angeles, and they were going to expand to the rest later. And you're not even technically in Los Angeles as far as I'm concerned.
I'm in Los Angeles County still.
Yeah, Los Angeles County, but it was the city of Los Angeles that had it.
Oh, well, didn't they make the entire county the city, Brian? Come on.
No.
See, I have Speed Reader on all the time in Brave, so I never see a lot of those diagrams and things like that.
Yeah,
so
and details, yes.
Yeah, details, exactly. But Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, that whole area is definitely in now. So I sent it over to some friends in WeHo who like to go out and party. I'm like, you might want to check this out. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. I don't see it rolling out in Toronto anytime soon, so no Waymo for me either. But I have this thing called public transportation.
Oh, yeah, trains and things like that.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, which would probably going to come in handy with the weather about to turn for you. So,
oh, Christ. Yeah. I just won't leave the house for 3 months.
Yeah, I wouldn't want a Waymo in the snow.
No
go snow Waymo. No.
Got a little bit of feedback here. Dean wrote in, "Hi guys, long-time listener, first-time contributor from Australia. Here's a follow-up email received today from Anova. If you recall, they made the strange decision to app access and support to many of their sous vide cooking devices. They have reconsidered that dick move." So yeah, we covered that story where people were rightfully pissed off that a service that they purchased into, whether they used it or not, which is app access to something that just sits and cooks and lets you know when it's done anyways. They decided they wanted to take it away because guess what? It costs them money because it's their product and it's a service they decided to sell to people.
Yeah.
But they have finally, this was quite a long time ago, from what I recall, but just in time for the Christmas miracle where they want more people to purchase their devices, they've decided to roll back that policy and basically say, we will continue to eat up the cost that we decided to offer as a service and not take that away from you, basically.
Yeah, so we can sell something to get rid of this stock we have in our warehouses for Black Friday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, so good move. I think it's important that companies continue to, service the product that they sold people.
Yeah, even if they don't want to.
Yes, even if they don't want to.
Yes, this is a lesson for junior accountants out there. When your team comes to you and said, "Hey, we got a great idea," run the numbers first.
Yeah, see how much that's going to cost you for the lifetime of a product per month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just keep that in mind. But why? Let's move fast and not support things.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about crypto because it's been in a weird situation with lots of other stuff going on. But I think it's safe to say the crypto bros have bought themselves a seat at the table for the next administration. We are hearing that they are going to be very supportive towards crypto. And of course, they're all fucking schemers and scammers anyway. So they're all launching their own fucking coins. But I think that is seemingly doing pretty well for crypto in general and Bitcoin specifically. I saw this morning that Bitcoin is nearing $100,000. Which is a height that has not scaled for quite some time. And I have a feeling that's going to continue for quite a while, at least the next 4 years or until everything burns down, as it might.
Yeah.
We're all screwed anyways.
It might be the only money soon, Brian. So hodl.
Well, actually, that was my point in bringing this up. I didn't really have a news story specifically to talk about with it, but I figured it's been a while since we've talked about it, and I haven't talked about my personal crypto situation for quite some time because I really haven't paid any attention to it. I've just been letting it. I've been hodling and just letting it sit and not even checking in on it, to be frank, because as we said from the beginning, if you want to invest in crypto, make sure it's gambling money. You don't use anything you need. It's Vegas money that you're happy to lose and never think about again, which is what I did. It wasn't a lot of money. I initially bought Bitcoin first, and then I bought some Ethereum, and then I did a little bit of research at the time, which was very difficult because it was basically all just press releases saying every single coin is God's own coin that will last forever and be the best thing that will ever be. But with a little bit of research, I bought some Filecoin and some Litecoin as well. So I went in and looked at it the other day, and everything was up a little bit because it hadn't been for quite some time. And Filecoin and Litecoin were basically just shit coins. I'm going to get email about that from somebody, I'm sure. But they were shit coins, and I sold them for tiny profits, basically. And I've decided, looking at it, I'm just going to hold on to Ethereum and Bitcoin, because why the fuck not? You never know what's going to happen over the next 4 years. Overall, after those two sales, and with where Ethereum and Bitcoin are at the moment, I'm up about 5% on my investment, which is, let's be honest here, considerably less than I would be if I'd invested that money in any of my well-performing individual stock holdings or just an index fund.
Correct.
So with all the brouhaha about Bitcoin, and yes, if you bought Bitcoin in 1973, you're doing great, and you didn't lose the US or the 5.25-inch floppy you saved it on, you're doing just fine. But if you didn't and you got in later like everybody else did, it's okay, but don't buy the hype. You would have been better off putting your money into Tesla, for Christ's sake.
Oh God. I was going to go look at see how much my Ethereum is worth, but I have to go find the floppy with the key so I can log into MetaMask, because I changed phones since I purchased it. So who knows, that might be lost to the wind.
You're again not. If it was Vegas money, it is what it is.
It's $150. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, I could really use that right now, but shit.
In the news,
St. Peter's Chapel in Lucerne, Switzerland has turned heads by replacing a priest with an AI-powered Jesus avatar in its confessional booth. Brian, woohoo!
Were you raised Catholic by any chance, Jason?
Hell no.
Do you know what you're supposed to be doing in the confessional booths?
Well, I'm guessing it's right there on the tin. You're supposed to be confessing.
Well, yeah, and you're to the point where like you're supposed to basically say, "Oh, I've cheated on my wife," or I fucking killed a homeless bum in bum fights that are legally recorded on the dark webs. Things that you probably don't want to tell a machine that's recording everything.
Yes. There's a caveat for that. We'll get to it in a second. But yeah, I think people who have muscle memory for the confessional may have been kind of fucked on this one. Dubbed Deus in Machina, the experiment launched in August allows visitors to interact with an AI Jesus that speaks 100 languages, providing real-time responses to spiritual and theological questions. Mm-hmm. Theologian Marco Schmid described the project as a way to explore how people engage with AI in a religious context. Over 2 months, more than 1,000 visitors, including tourists and individuals of various faiths, tried the avatar. 2/3 of surveyed participants reported a positive spiritual experience, though others criticized the responses as shallow or impersonal. 2/3 is not bad, Brian.
Now, to be honest here, again, and from my own personal experience being raised Roman Catholic, the responses as shallow or impersonal, it was always say 10 Hail Marys anyways, no matter what I fucking did.
There you go.
I was mean to my sister, or I stole a chocolate bar. Say 10 Hail Marys.
All right. I think that's maybe that's the default. You know, the can't or the no internet connection. Yeah, that's what it says when it can't get a connection. The installation, developed in collaboration with a local university, trained the AI on theological texts. Users were cautioned not to share personal information, as it wasn't intended to replicate traditional confession.
Okay. There we go.
Yes, but Brian, the experiment has roused the ire of Big Jesus.
What about Buddy Jesus?
Oh, man. Catholic critics opposed its use of the confessional, while Protestants questioned the avatar's imagery. Despite precautions, Schmid admitted concerns about the AI delivering inappropriate or contradictory advice.
As do priests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While the project won't become permanent, Schmid sees potential for AI as a tool to facilitate religious dialogue, reflecting a growing interest in personalized spiritual experiences. Now, I gotta give him props to have the cojones to do this.
I mean, it's a big swing.
Yeah. You know, good for them for giving it a shot. Like, you know, you can do it in the back room all you want, but when you bring it out to the public like that, that really is that says something. You're putting your money where your mouth is.
It does cast my mind back to the AI ethics course I took, in which they like caution small brands and big businesses before even rolling out something as an AI shopping assistant. But hey, the church just fucking went for it, man.
Let's just go, man. Just bring in the big guns. Why not?
And I'd like to thank you for putting in this story, because I've heard nothing but Depeche Mode's Personal Jesus in my head all day long.
I know. Now that you've said it, I can't unsee it. Oh, this was all over the news this morning, and I'm like, we just had to. We just had to, because the thing is, you know what? I want it trained on all theological texts. Then I would like to have a chat with it. That actually sounds fairly interesting. You know? I have a book by Leo Tolstoy where he basically put together, philosophical writings and a lot of religious texts from over the years. And he made his own little daily calendar book. This is Tolstoy back in the 1800s, so it's been around for a while. But, something like this would be fun to play with, I think. Yeah. But, don't share your personal information with your own personal Jesus. Oh, man.
Your own personal black box multi-connected Jesus.
Yeah. A recent investigation reveals that dialogue from over 53,000 movies and 85,000 TV episodes has been used to train AI systems without writers' consent.
Let me bring back an oldie but a goodie here, Jason. Shocking.
That's right. This includes content from The Godfather, The Simpsons, and Breaking Bad, sourced from subtitles uploaded to opensubtitles.org.
And that's just for the Jesus AI.
Yeah. I'm the one who knocks. Oh, God. Yeah. Basically, everybody under the sun utilized this data to build generative AI models, sparking ethical and legal debates. No shit. They're arguing fair use. Well, it was on opensubtitles.org.
Fair use.
I know. Open loophole is what they should have called it. But yeah.
They should have just called it "We don't give a fuck."
Yeah. Let the lawyers figure it out. Oh, man. Speaking of lawyers figuring things out, this comes from the "Oops, I did it again" category. In a lawsuit accusing OpenAI of using copyrighted material without permission, lawyers for the New York Times and Daily News claim potential evidence was accidentally deleted. This fall, OpenAI provided virtual machines for the plaintiff's counsel to search its AI training sets for copyrighted material. However, on November 14th, OpenAI engineers erased the search data on one machine. Although most of the data was recovered, key file structures were lost, making it impossible to determine where copyrighted works were used in AI training.
Interestingly, specific mistake.
Exactly. Now, the plaintiff's lawyers say this mistake has forced them to restart weeks of work, but they don't believe the deletion was intentional. So that was interesting that they came out and said, it's okay. They fucked up, but it wasn't their fault, or it wasn't malicious. They still say that OpenAI is best positioned to search its data set for infringing content, which of course it is, but they're not gonna. That is the dumbest thing. It's like, well, yeah, of course the murderer is the one that is most likely positioned to tell you how he done it, but that's your job.
Listen, drug cartels, we're going to need you to police yourselves.
Yeah. That's about it. Oh, God. And hat tip to Martin on Discord for this one. A UK-based DNA testing company, Atlas Biomed, has vanished. Just gone, poof, leaving customers unable to access their genetic data. The company's website is inactive, offices are closed, and social media accounts haven't been updated since 2023. Customers worry about their sensitive data's fate, especially after ties to Russia were reported, with 2 remaining officers linked to a Moscow address tied to a Russian billionaire. The UK's Information Commissioner's Office is investigating Atlas Biomed. While no misuse is confirmed, fears persist about who now controls the data. Experts warn this incident underscores the need to think critically before spitting in strange tubes.
Yeah, well, that horse is out of the gate.
Yeah. When they send you an empty vodka bottle to spit your DNA into, you might want to reconsider.
I'm half Smirnoff. That seems to be the case. Yeah. Anyways, speaking about thinking critically, Neuralink gets approval to start human trials here in Canada now. So they have secured Health Canada's approval to launch human trials in the country, with the Toronto Western Hospital, right down the street, being the first and exclusive surgical site for the procedure. This company first opened its Canadian patent registry in March, but is now actively looking for potential participants. Recruitment is now open. It has announced on X. So a bunch of bots are currently signing up. Under the Can Prime network, Neuralink will embed its implants in the brain of a participant so that it can interpret their neural activity. This implant will allow them to control a computer or a smartphone with their brain without the needs for wires or any kind of physical movement. So this is going to be a study which aims to evaluate the safety of its implant and surgical robot and assess the initial functionality of its brain-computer interface for enabling people with quadriplegia to control external devices with their thoughts. So, yeah, basically, if you're a Canadian and you want to give it a go, they're looking for you. They're looking specifically for people with limited or no ability to use both hands due to a cervical spinal cord injury or ALS for its trials. There you go.
All right. I was going to tell you to hop on down there, but you don't.
No, qualify. I'm good. I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay.
All right.
I'll tell you somebody who isn't okay, Alex Jones and his team. Now, it's not just
and
the
frogs.
Fact,
don't forget the frogs.
I saw this article, and this was a fun read, actually. The weirdest domains Alex Jones has to give to The Onion. So The Onion basically picked up everything, and they've done a deep dive on what domain names the organization owns. This includes plenty of names that make sense and are entirely predictable, including variations on Infowars like Infowars.net and shopinfowars.biz. There are also domains that include Infowars, which obviously they're just trying to do domain squatters and get away from all that. Same shit that we all used to do before we realized it was just a waste of money. Yep. Some seem like they could plausibly be businesses Jones had planned to establish but never followed through on, such as InfowarsPets.com, InfowarsCrypto.com, InfowarsBunker.com, InfowarsBabes.com.
For when you're stuck in the Infowars bunker.
And InfowarsSocial.com. But then there are some other ones, Jason.
Okay.
Such as GoblinLove.com.
All right.
Now, apparently, he's often talked about goblins. I could not tell you the context, and it's not clear why he'd be interested in something like Goblin Love, since he apparently uses the term in a negative way about people he dislikes. He also owns GoblinFire.com and GoblinNest.com. Then there are domains.
I got to say, my the fact that I'm just a little bit dyslexic, I saw GoblinNest.com and I thought it said GoblinIncest.com. And I'm like, man, he's really getting specific there.
Well, you got to dial down, man. You don't know what your core constituency is going to be. Well, I guess he did.
And when you're done with Infowars Babes, when you're stuck in the Infowars bunker, you need a little spices to keep things going, I guess.
Well, you can move on to SlaveObama.com or StartHavingKids.com and FluorideCleanse.com, which he also owns. And, of course, my favorite, Cook Dorsey, which appears to be a reference to Jack Dorsey, of course. And other domains include evilcities.com, goodguyswithguns.net, and redbloodparty.com.
Yeah.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
I guess the frogsaregay.com must have already been taken.
Yeah, no mention of frogs. Oh, well.
Strange.
Mm-hmm. I bet it's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy. Okay, moving on. This is all over the news, and I noticed Alphabet's stock price has dropped a little bit today by a few bucks compared to the price of it. It's like not that much. The U.S. Department of Justice has proposed that Google divest its Chrome browser to address antitrust violations in the online search market. This recommendation follows a court ruling that found Google maintained an illegal monopoly over the past decade. The DOJ's proposed measures include Chrome divestiture, Android restrictions, default search engine deals, and data sharing. So they're trying to go after them and cut them up. So We'll see what happens. I actually hope they do, because, they're too damn big. They literally have the entire alphabet from A to Z.
They are too big. There's no doubt about that. But I think that they're also doing a very good job just dismantling their own search engine right now with all the AI crap they've put in there. So
tell me about it.
It's fucking useless.
Tell me about it. Speaking of things that need to be torn apart, Trump admin reportedly wants to unleash driverless cars on America. Woo! Okay. Yes, the Trump administration is reportedly prioritizing the expansion of autonomous vehicles on U.S. roads. According to Bloomberg, advisors close to President-elect Donald Trump are working on a federal regulatory framework to replace the current patchwork of state laws governing self-driving cars. Currently, federal regulations cap self-driving car deployments at 2,500 vehicles per year. But car makers want more freedom and simplified rules. By car makers, he means Elon Musk and his stupid cybercab, because you're not going to make another gazillion dollars with only 2,500 cars per year.
Yes, and what they want is no regulations. Right now, we're going slow and gentle with regulations, and rightfully so, given every story we talk about on this show week after week about a fucking self-driving car doing something horrible, and then they have to step back and take a few more steps back, and then they have to report what happened, and then they have to fix it.
Unless you're Tesla and you turn off that data and that feature right before the crash.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Brian, to follow up on that, a new study by IC Cars reveals Tesla has the highest rate of fatal accidents among all car brands in the U.S. That's right. Yep. The most deaths by car brand, with 5.6 fatal crashes per billion miles driven, double the national average of 2.8. The Tesla Model Y stands out as its most dangerous vehicle, ranking 6th for individual car models.
Now, Jason, why could that be? Is it because there's an inherent flaw in the car's actual physical design?
No, Brian, there isn't.
What?
The car is actually just fine.
Well, what could it possibly be, Jason?
Oh, could it be the reliance on touchscreens for controls and infotainment, maybe sometimes allowing video games while driving?
Or perhaps the fact that they market a full self-drive that doesn't?
Exactly, which makes people believe that their car is more capable than it actually is until they run into a fucking wall. Yes, that could possibly be it, Brian. Possibly. But it does say full self-driving, so, it must be true.
Yeah, and why would they put this gigantic screen in my car when I'm driving that lets me watch movies unless they wanted me to?
Exactly.
Right.
Come on, man. It must be safe. They wouldn't sell it to me if it wasn't safe, right?
Right. Well, according to the New York Times, Boris Pistorius, sounds like a name out of a fucking nursery rhyme to me, but like one of the evil original German ones where like the kids die because they were bad.
Boris Pistorius put on the blades on his feet and then he cuts him up.
Be careful or Krampus cookies. And Boris Pistorius will come for you.
Yes. That's Krampus's handler.
Well, he also happens to be Germany's current defense minister, so just take that with whatever you want to take it with. Believes that the undersea cables that connected Finland and Germany that were severed on Monday were not damaged by accident. Another cable connecting Lithuania and Sweden was also cut on Sunday. The internet connection between these countries remains active despite these disruptions. Pistorius claims that nobody believes these cables were severed by accident, and he thinks anchors dropped from ships wouldn't damage the cables like this. He claims it's sabotage, but admitted he does not have solid proof for this assertion. Germany and Finland have both released a joint statement mentioning that a thorough investigation is ongoing. This statement also directly names Russia as a threat to European security while the country wages war against Ukraine. Now, Jason.
Scene coming out of water where moose and squirrel.
If we say we're a show that were the liberal equivalent of, say Alex Jones, I would be talking about how Elon Musk has had these calls with Vladimir Putin, and who would benefit if all actual landline cables connecting the internet went away? Somebody that perhaps had internet satellite access to sell to everybody. But we're not like Alex Jones, and we're not going to be bought out by The Onion in a few years while we have to fucking go to jail forever. So we wouldn't do that.
We wouldn't do that. Speaking of Germany, a recent investigation has revealed that U.S. data brokers are legally selling location data, enabling the tracking of U.S. military and intelligence personnel in Germany. The data exposes movements from homes and schools to sensitive sites like nuclear vaults. Oops. The unregulated sale of mobile location data poses significant national security risks, potentially exploitable by foreign governments, terrorists, or criminals. Despite these threats, the U.S. Department of Defense and federal agencies have yet to implement comprehensive measures to address the issue. Efforts to regulate data brokerage practices have stalled again, leaving U.S. military operations vulnerable to espionage and other security breaches. Now, I'd like to point out the title of this article, which is Anyone Can Buy Data Tracking U.S. Soldiers and Spies to Nuclear Vaults and Brothels in Germany. Yep.
One big explosion, one little explosion.
Exactly. The little death. The little death and the
Le
big
petit
death.
mort. Oh, that would be if it was in France. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what would that be? I know what's dead in German. Auf Deutsch. Es kleiner Tod. That's it.
There you go.
Große Tot and kleine Tot, or kleine Tot. I still remember something from my high school German many years ago. This one's fun. Microsoft is constructing 2 new data centers in Northern Virginia using cross-laminated timber, or CLT, a fire-resistant prefabricated wood material alongside traditional steel and concrete. Now, there's a reason they're doing this, Brian, and it's not the one you think it is. They're trying to lower their carbon emissions from their data centers.
Okay.
Now, you think about, okay, this is going to reduce the carbon emissions by 35% compared to conventional steel construction and 65% compared to precast concrete methods. Now, this only goes into the one-time cost of actually building the data center, which when you look at the lifetime of a data center, is teeny tiny. Compared to the output of the carbon that is produced by all the fucking machines that are running the AI to talk to Jesus.
Right.
So I just think that it's funny that they're trying to promote this as a big win by making them out of wood.
It's a kleine win, not a grosse win.
This episode is sponsored by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. What is HelloFresh? It's farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered to your doorstep. With HelloFresh, you can skip the stress of grocery shopping and make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why they're America's #1 meal kit. The holiday season is just around the corner, and we're all looking for ways to save time and energy. HelloFresh makes mealtime a breeze with chef-crafted recipes that come together quickly, and they're way more affordable than takeout. Whether you're craving hearty comfort food or need calorie-smart options, HelloFresh has a rotating menu of 50 weekly recipes to satisfy every craving. Personally, I love how HelloFresh helps me break out of my recipe rut. This week, we made their umami ginger pork bowls with pickled cucumber and sriracha crema. This hearty bowl centers around ground pork, browned and simmered in a savory miso-based ginger sauce with nutty sesame seeds. Crisp, quick pickled cucumbers, tender sautéed cabbage and carrots, and spicy crema are also on the menu, all served over fluffy rice. I mean, come on, they had me at sriracha, just saying. Everything was pre-portioned, so there was zero waste, and it came together in just 20 minutes. Plus, their pre-portioned ingredients saved me from overbuying at the store. It's a win-win. And don't miss the HelloFresh Market. They've got over 100 add-ons from breakfast to snacks and even Thanksgiving sides to wow a crowd without lifting a finger. Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/free GOG. Applied across 7 boxes. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals by just going to HelloFresh.com/free GOG. This episode is brought to you by 1Password Extended Access Management. Imagine your company's security like the quad of a college campus. There are nice brick paths between the buildings. Those are the company-owned devices, IT-approved apps, and managed employee identities. And then there are the paths people actually use, the shortcuts worn through the grass that are the actual straightest line from point A to point B. Those are unmanaged devices, shadow IT apps, and non-employee identities like contractors. Most security tools only work on those happy brick paths, but a lot of security problems take place on the shortcuts. 1Password Extended Access Management is the first security solution that brings all these unmanaged devices, apps, and identities under your control. It ensures that every user credential is strong and protected, every device is known and healthy, and every app is visible. 1Password Extended Access Management solves the problems traditional IAM and MDM can't. It's security for the way we work today, and it's now generally available to companies with Okta and Microsoft Entra, and in beta for Google Workspace customers. Check it out at 1password.com/grumpyoldgeeks. That's 1password.com/grumpyoldgeeks.
Media Candy.
Okay, Brian, last week we talked about the Paul and Tyson fight. Oh,
yeah.
God. It should have been Biden versus Tyson. I tell you, that would have been a better fight. Been more fair. But, yeah, that was what it was.
I did not watch it.
Yeah. The women's fight beforehand was fucking brutal. I mean, it was hard to watch.
Said it was good, but I mean, that it tracks for boxing. It is a brutal sport. So
yeah, it was. Yeah, Yeah.
I think, I was going to watch it just because it feels like one of those events that are so rare these days that like everybody is kind of paying attention to. And I flipped it on at 8:00 because that's when I thought it was going to start. And by the time it was like midnight here and they still hadn't fought, and I stopped checking in and I stopped caring and went to bed and woke up to the glorious memes of I watched it on Netflix last night, and then they had screenshots from the 1980s game Punch-Out.
That was about it. Yeah. No, the fight should have been titled "How to Disappoint 108 Million People at Once." So, and it was a shit show of connectivity issues. For me, I was watching it on my Apple TV, and Mike Tyson comes out to walk down the way after Jake Paul, of course, takes a car and does karaoke on the way. Mike Tyson had to walk the 300 miles to the ring, which is probably why he was so tired for the fight by the time he got there, because being 53, I know he's 58, that's a long walk, and you're winded by the end of that walk, Should have got at least a golf cart or something. But right as he walked out and raised his arms up, the entire Apple TV app crashed. It just crashed. I pulled it up on my laptop to see. Nope. All of Netflix was down. And there were just tons and tons and tons of people who were having problems. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad, which is really not good for their upcoming Christmas or Thanksgiving, whatever football thing they got coming up. So
that's
they better
the
get
thing.
that shit fixed.
I was looking at these numbers here, and they're obviously these big streamers want to get into sports because that's real time, must have subscription, can't wait to just pay for a month and binge. So it's big. It's a big deal. And the holy grail of all this, of course, is the World Cup. So all the numbers are in this article. So this was 65 million concurrent streams, attracted a global audience of 108 million. And, they crashed the fuck out of their system. And, that's 16 million more is Super Bowl. So you're not even going to be able to do a Super Bowl. World Cup, 5.4 billion.
Exactly. Yeah, the internet we don't have that many tubes. We don't have that many tubes in the internet. So, no, they got a ways to go.
Definitely.
But they've got all the money in the world, so I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Well, maybe they're too busy making AI. So
they got to call Elon and send it to space. Oh, man. So, last year, I talked about The Old Man, which was a fantastic series. Mm-hmm. And season 2, unfortunately, came out this year. And I didn't even know it wrapped because the finale was so boring. It was the entirety of season 2 in my book was a stinker. So, unfortunately, I cannot recommend The Old Man past season 1. But season 1 was just awesome.
Well,
yeah.
Sounds like a big win for my 3 seasons or not going to watch it policy.
Unfortunately, I think you may be right on this one. And I think it comes back to what my friend said about, a season or a series does good, then they fire the writers because there were no writers on this show this year. It was bad. It was bad. There was no budget. It was just good. You compare that, though, to a new show that came out with season 2 this year, The Lioness, on I think that's on Paramount Plus. Fortunately, Nicole Kidman's face has come back to normal. She had just gotten surgery for season 1, and she was like a poofy and everything. She just did not look like Nicole Kidman. Now she looks kind of normal again.
The butter is melted a bit.
Exactly. The thing about Lioness season 2 is I think they're up to episode 4 or 5 now. Every episode has a epic gunfight and battle scene in it. It's awesome. Instead of, I'm sure that we're going to have to get to one of those cost-cutting episodes where they just talk. But from now, every episode has been had great gunfights. I love it. And it's a good story so far, too. So I'm happy with it. I'm happy with The Lioness. I forgot to put that in the show notes. Another one that I'm pretty happy with is The Day of the Jackal. This is one that's on... I don't know what this one's coming on. It's not Paramount. It may be Paramount Plus. Hulu. No, Peacock. That's it. Peacock. You got to get. It's like we have universe creep when we read all that sci-fi. Now I've got streaming platform creep. Yeah. Yes, Day of the Jackal is on Peacock. Now, I found out about this show a little late. Episode 7 has just aired in England, and episode 6 has just aired in the U.S. When I found it, I went to the backwaters of the internet and found the UK version. So I'm a day ahead of everybody in the U.S. that's watching it. So all my friends, I get to taunt them. I'm like, did you see where they were making out and everything? So it's like, shut up. So I'm having fun with my friends. But beyond that, great show so far, based on the novel. loosely, very, very, very loosely based on the novel. But so far, so good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So if you got Peacock, it's a good one.
I do not have Peacock. There's absolutely nothing else on Peacock I'd be interested in. So sorry, Dave the Jackal.
But you do have BitTorrent. So
That's true.
There you go. I started watching Leonardo da Vinci by Ken Burns last night.
Oh, this must be full of panning and zooming.
It's not that much, no.
Oh, really?
So
no
far,
Ken Burns effect?
He's toned down the Ken Burns effect. I think it's, since it's been co-opted by everybody on the planet, I think the Ken Burns effect there's, of course, a little bit of it, but
yeah.
I'm only about 20 minutes into it, and I decided to stop because it's a 2-hour movie. And I love when the world goes stupid, when they go low, you go high. So I'm trying to find more things with, real amazing thinkers from the past. I'm probably going to go back and, read more on the classical artists like Mozart and Beethoven and things like that. By the way, Immortal Beloved was a great movie. Totally off topic about what we're talking about,
yes.
But great movie. I can't wait to watch the rest of it. The beginning was a whole bunch of info about Leonardo that I did not know.
Look, Ken Burns, we can make fun of him because, he's Ken Burns and he does Ken Burnsian things. But at the end of the day, I have liked every single thing he's done. And it's even about subject matters I don't give a shit about. He makes it compelling and interesting and you learn a ton. So I'm a big fan of anything this guy puts out. So I want to watch this too. Yeah,
get it. It's out right now on PBS. I watched the teaser trailer for The Studio, the new Seth Rogen series coming to Apple TV Plus.
Yep.
I don't know. It might be funny.
Might be.
It's
I'm so burned out on him.
I like him again. He's kind of turned a corner for me. Okay. I was tired of him for a while, but I don't know. I kind of dig him again.
All right. I haven't turned the corner yet. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, and speaking of Apple TV Plus, Apple plans to license its original movies to third-party platforms such as foreign TV networks and digital stores to mitigate losses and enhance content visibility. So they're throwing in the towel saying, yeah, we just can't do it on our own. We need to make some more money from this crap.
No, that's smart because Apple TV's got to be way down there in terms of subscriptions for streaming services. It just is and it shouldn't because it does have really good content. So many of the shows that we like and talk about now tend to be on Apple TV. They do great work. It's just they don't have people paying for their streaming service. So makes sense. License the crap out of it. Get it out there.
Yeah, so after it's done with its first run, spit it out and then bring people back to Apple TV Plus. It's exactly what MGM Plus is doing with their Netflix deal right now.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, have you watched Interview with the Vampire yet?
Not yet. It is on the list.
You better hurry up because I don't think that deal's going to last forever.
I got to get on it.
Yeah. And the live action How to Train Your Dragon trailer came out, the teaser trailer for it. Now, I'm an old Brian, but
yes,
I loved the original How to Train Your Dragon cartoon animated movie. I guess you can't call it a cartoon anymore since it's all CG. I loved that. I love that movie so much. And I got to say, just the teaser trailer gave me the feels again. I liked it.
I know nothing about this story, but my kid is coming of age that he's going to want to read these books, and I think he's going to enjoy this movie. So I
didn't know they were books. I just saw the original animated movies.
Oh, there's a whole book series. So
Oh, okay. I recommend the movies. I think they're really good. They're beautifully done. So, and the new Minecraft movie trailer finally came out. We made so much fun of it last time. I had to throw it in here. It's an improvement. I'm still not going to go watch it, but it's an improvement over that teaser trailer that they had.
They definitely went back to the lab and fixed some things, but I'm still very uninterested.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun if you're into Minecraft. I'm not, so probably not going to watch. Everybody that has like Minecraft people that saw it like got the original trailer, and they think, yeah, it is what it is. So, if you've got Minecraft kids or you're a Minecrafter, then it might be good. I like Jack Black. What can I say? He reminds me of Bob. He reminds me of Bob. I gotta go with Jack Black. Okay. Silo season 2. Did you watch the latest episode last night?
I did not watch last night's episode, so I've only seen the first episode of season 2.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
I loved it. It's great to be back in the world. I did think it was an interesting choice to basically just focus on her solo running around the new silo the entire episode.
I could watch her play Adam Savage all day. You know,
I look, Rebecca Ferguson is gorgeous. She was gorgeous in Dune, but I like dirty, grimy Rebecca Ferguson, and we got that for 45 minutes straight, and it was awesome.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I watched episode 2 last night, and she's not in it at all. So you gotta, if you want more Rebecca Ferguson, you got to go back to episode 1. But it's really good.
I'm looking forward to it. I was going to watch it last night, but the wife wanted to watch. We caught up with Shrinking, which is still really good. And then after that was over, I didn't really have enough time for a full length thing, so I watched the latest Lower Decks. And so Silo's up for tonight.
I got to get to that new Lower Decks. They are going out with a whimper, not a bang on this final season, I got to say.
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be the case. I thought they would actually swing for the fences and go nuts, but they're not.
No, not at all. Sad to hear that you watched the new one and it seems to be more of the same. Bummer. Yeah. Oh, well.
It still has its moments. It's clever and it's funny.
Yeah.
But for a series that came in the way it did, and the whole point of the series is basically just to fucking have a lot of fun and make fun, but with respect, they're not doing it. They have the chance to like go out nutso, and they're not.
Yeah. Because I mean, season 1 I thought was meh. Season 2 they hit it out of the park, and I thought they were doing so fantastic for the rest of it. And then this season is just kind of yeah.
It's a sandwich with shit bread, Jason.
It really is. It really is. I did watch one other documentary this week, which was kind of off-brand. Kingdom Uncovered Inside Saudi Arabia. Yeah, fuck those guys. That's all I got to say.
There you go.
Moving on.
Speaking of spice flowing and somebody controlling it all, the first episode of Dune Prophecy came out, which was originally entitled The Sisterhood, but I guess they apparently decided that was too coded and we can't do that, and we don't want to alienate people that may not like chick stuff.
Yeah, so the Sisterhood of the Traveling Spice just didn't roll off the tongue.
It's beautiful. I liked it. I'm interested to see where it's going. I hope that they don't follow the source material because it's loosely based off the Brian Herbert, son of Frank Herbert books, which are all absolute trash. And Frank Herbert did provide enough little background history of the Bene Gesserit in his books anyway. So as long as they don't go away from that, we're good. Seems interesting, and it is gorgeous. I'm curious to see where they take it.
Yeah, no, it as far as visuals go, is definitely on point. And I do like that I mentioned this to you off the air. I'm glad that they did that quick time shift in the beginning, because the actress that played the younger Bene Gesserit was just like
Valia.
Yeah. She rubbed me the wrong way. She I've seen her in other things where she plays like kind of a fundamental religious person, and I just still have that stuck in my head. And that's the part that she was playing here, and she does it really well, but it's an uncomfortable part for me to watch. And I'm just like, oh God, thank God they got rid of her.
Yeah.
So sorry, actress who plays that part, but you creep me out.
Now, I think you and I, Jason, we kind of agree we're not too into AI being used in our TV shows and movies. There's still some very uncanny valley aspects to it that are hard to get over, but something did come out this week, and I'm curious to know what you thought of it. This comes from the Roddenberry Archive, which is partnered up with a company called Otoy, which does a lot of AI film stuff. And it's called Unification, and it's a new short created with the use of a combination of archival footage and CGI and AI imposed over actors, with Kirk himself played by both William Shatner and actor Sam Witwer, and Spock by Lawrence Selleck. And what did you think?
Yes, okay.
I got some feels. I enjoyed it. You know what killed it for me?
What?
The soundtrack. I kept waiting for if they would have had the actual Star Trek music, I think I would have leaked. I think there would have been dust. It needed the music. And if it had the music, I probably would have forgiven all the rest of it, and I just would have loved it unconditionally.
You need the full package. You got to have the music.
I couldn't believe it. And a couple times it swelled a little bit, and they got really close, obviously probably using AI for the music. Make something that sounds like Star Trek.
Tone it back. Yeah.
But not quite, because I don't know why they wouldn't have the rights to it. Well, I guess Roddenberry probably doesn't have the rights to the music because that's owned by Paramount and blah, 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 blah. If they would have just had the music, it would have made it for me.
Yeah, it really would have. Yeah, that's really what the missing piece was. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe somebody will do a guerrilla version and rescore it.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Brian?
Yeah, I'll get on that with all my spare time.
Exactly.
But it was, I found it to be a pretty nice and fitting send off for Kirk. It was clever. It was nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just, if you're listening to the show and feel like doing something and sending us a copy, we wouldn't be mad at that, is all I'm saying. Yep. All right. So Spotify, getting back to music, Spotify stock hit a record high this week, briefly reaching $477.50 after its Q3 earnings announcement, though it settled at $458.32, giving the company a $92 billion market cap.
Totally understand why they can't pay artists. Makes sense.
I know they're barely scraping by. And so much so that co-founder Daniel Ek cashed out $35.8 million in shares, bringing his total sales to $376 million in 18 months. I mean, I don't know how he can afford to keep the lights on.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It really is. And co-founder Martin Lorenzen's firm sold $383 million in shares this week, topping $450 million in sales since June. These guys, man, I feel like sending them $1 because I don't think they're going to be able to pay rent this month. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, imagine only being able to make about $400 million for a company that's on track for its very first profitable year ever.
I know.
It's amazing.
I know. Yeah, they've only got 252 million premium subscribers too. That's just that's just not enough, Brian. It's just not enough to keep the lights on.
No, especially not when you're getting all that content for free now and you're downplaying the music so you don't have to pay anybody and you're just basically taking people's podcasts and not paying them anything. Yeah. It's hard to understand.
Yeah, and the audiobooks that they're giving away now for free.
Because they just take content and pass it out for free and then charge people for it and put ads on top of it and keep all that money themselves. It's a real head scratcher.
They're Robin Hood, Brian. They're fucking Robin Hood.
Anyways, I saw this interesting stat. In 2024, more music is released daily than in all of 1989 put together, according to Music Radar and Will Page, former Spotify chief economist. Interesting other point, 1989 was the last time the music was good.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, when I was working on this new track for Deshaun Wesley, which, by the way, released today, so I've been in the middle of all this, the research says the number of new tracks released daily, to put those numbers, the 1989 and 2024 numbers, in context, the number of new tracks released daily, this is daily, on music streaming services, is estimated to be between 100,000 and 120,000 tracks per day.
Hey, we asked for no gatekeepers. We got no gatekeepers anymore. Isn't it great?
That's great. It's fantastic. Yeah. So definitely go check the link in the show notes and check out Deshaun Wesley's new track, Labels, which I've just spent the past couple months working on to get out the door. So 2 tracks in a sea of 120,000 today. Yeah. We ain't going to.
And even if it gets a lot of plays, you still won't get any money.
No, the plays don't matter. The plays don't matter. You make your money on sync licenses and shit like that now. The funny thing is, Brian, at this point, I know more about music industry accounting than I ever wanted to know. I finally know what a sync license is. I know what mechanicals are. I know what all this shit is. I never wanted to know that stuff, ever.
Sorry. It's not fun.
No. But hey, we got a track out, so go check it out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was actually kind of fun to go through the process, I got to say. But you can't do it if you're going to make any money on it.
No.
Daniel Ek took it all. And finally, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy promised new podcast devoted to discuss destruction of U.S. government. That's right. Dogecasts are coming to your ear holes near you.
Great.
Yeah, because Joe Rogan's on the top right now. We need somebody to knock him off. So come on, Elon Swami, make it happen.
Ups and doodads.
I saw this come across my news feed this week, Brian, introducing Shop with Perplexity.
All right.
Somebody really should have thought of that a little bit more.
I'm perplexed as to where to buy this after using your shopping system.
Exactly. So find the perfect shop in no time. AI-powered shopping searches. Find exactly what you're looking for. Compare at a glance. Get summarized reviews from across the internet. Snap to shop. Upload a photo of an item. Perplexity helps find the product. And shop like a pro. For pro subscribers, buy in one click, plus shipping on us. So that was the press release from Perplexity AI this week, introducing their new shopping tool.
All right.
We'll see how that goes. I haven't tried it yet, but I may just for shits and giggles.
Why don't you put in a Nintendo Switch for me and find me the best price?
Okay, will do. Right. I'm on it, Brian.
We'll see
right as soon as you finish that new soundtrack for that Kirk thing.
Okay, I'll get on that too. I read an interesting article over at The Atlantic, which kind of talks about the AI assistant that has come with Apple in the latest updates, and specifically the plot or the texting summaries that we've discussed a couple times on the show because of horrific and very funny things that are occurring. And this was basically going through saying, the social internet is crap and it's in crisis, as we've talked about. They're all algorithmic feeds and it's all trying to sell us shit or push fucking influencers on us, and none of it's about our friends anymore and keeping in touch with our friends. And this article is basically saying that group chats and text messages are basically what's left, what's replaced it for social media for keeping in touch with friends, and that it's a great thing. It's online, it's real-time conversations that can be staggered, and there's nuances and many different conversations, and basically AI notification summaries are going to fucking destroy them and basically just become algorithmic takeovers just like social media did.
Do you have the AI stuff on your phone?
I think I got it with the latest update, but I haven't seen anything, so I don't know.
Oh, you'll know it. Know it. You'll know it right away, because you're going to have about 7 heart attacks a day if you have it turned on, because the notifications that come across my lock screen are just like, it's a jumble of everything that just came in.
Right.
And it makes no sense whatsoever. And half the time it's like you think you sent something to the wrong person. Like, did I send that email to that person? Oh, shit. It's like, because you get names and subjects that are completely commingled and that have nothing, especially if you have multiple texts. It's like, Jeff Curto says you owe him $1,243 this month. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I don't. It's just, that's the Small Business Association. That would be okay. Let's skip that one. Let's move on. It has nothing. They are a mess. It is the worst Mad Libs ever.
I must have it turned off then, and obviously I'm not going to now turn it on.
Keep it off.
Keeping up with our discussions that we've had about Bluesky and Threads and everything else right now, Bluesky has passed the 20 million mark this week as the app continues its recent surge in growth. They reached 15 million users less than a week ago, and it just about tripled its user base in the last 3 months. They've had several days over the last week where added 1 million new users in a single 24-hour period, so they're seeming to be able to handle the uptick pretty well. It's similar growth rate over at Threads, which has been getting 1 million new signups a day for going on 3 months, according to an update last week from Meta's Adam Mosseri. Threads has reached 270 million monthly users earlier this month, but as we talked about, that's basically because they were onboarded if you were on Meta products anywhere, particularly Instagram. So they started with that. Bluesky has experienced other periods of significant growth over the last year. The recent surge is far bigger than what the open source service had previously seen. A lot of this seems to be, of course, partially because of people basically bailing on X and looking for something different. And so far, it's doing pretty well. And now that I've actually switched over from Threads, which I had problems with that we discussed, which is mostly because it's not time-based, and it's useless to see updates from friends or breaking news 4 days later, which Bluesky has figured out. So, and people seem to be going there in droves. I am pretty much more on Bluesky than anything else. Not that I'm on any of these that much anymore, but if I do have a small scale social media network that I go to, it is now Bluesky, and I just kind of check the others if there's a notification. Yeah,
no, it's great. And the CEO Jay Graber, she says she doesn't want to enshitify the network with ads, which is good. And she was on CNBC this week and said the open source design of Bluesky makes it billionaire proof because we can take our followers with us if they try and do any shenanigans. So I'm with you. I'm over there, basically full time now. I checked into Threads this morning and I'm just like, it's literally like 4 or 5 days ago, or a lot of posts about people who got sober. I'm like, I don't know you. I don't care. Good for you. Go to a meeting. Have a nice day. But it's doing pretty well. And this morning I've got a link to a live post counter in the show notes. And when I checked about a half an hour ago, there were 21,482,984 users. A half an hour later, they're at 21,512,229 users. So it's about 10,000. It actually works out about 1,000 a minute that are signing up. So the fact that they can handle it's pretty good especially for a 20-person staff.
Yep.
And they've only taken in $36 million in funding, which is not bad. Not bad. That's a good, it's pretty good.
Maybe
so far.
Elon was right. Fire everybody over at X. You don't need that big of a staff. Anyways, we've all left Elon because that is a bad system over there and nobody wants to be there. And Bluesky does seem to be the fun one right now. I'm never going to be a power user, but that seems to be my home base right now unless that changes. And it seems to be hitting the critical mass in terms of people seem to be, that's where we're going to go. That has not escaped Meta's notice, however. As people are leaving or deactivating their X accounts, they've earned meaningful growth for both platforms. But as we've all pointed out, Bluesky seems to be the far better one in terms of actual ability to use it for something useful. And they are starting to notice that. And Threads is going to start tweaking their algorithm, getting it to rebalance and prioritize content from people you follow and less recommended content from accounts you don't follow, which is pretty much exactly what Bluesky does. So they're just going to start, they're pulling the normal page out of Zuck's playbook, which is find the product that's working, copy all their features, and then bludgeon them to death with money.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I understand the thinking behind the way Threads launched because you didn't have very many followers or you weren't following very many people when Threads first launched. So they needed to shove you some content, except they never turned it off. There should have been a threshold. Once you hit like 10 people, okay, turn that shit off and just show me what I want to see first and then put in some algorithmic bullshit. But they didn't do that because they're like, that's not how they make money.
No, and that's not how they run any of their other services. So that also kind of makes sense from a big company perspective. Well, this is what we do on Instagram and this is what we do on Facebook. So it's what we're going to do on Threads.
Yeah. Fuck those guys. This episode is sponsored by Delete Me. All right, Grumps, let's get real for a second. We live in an age where your personal data is everyone's business, literally. Data brokers are buying, selling, and trading our private details, making us all vulnerable to identity theft, harassment, and spam. Now more than ever, privacy isn't just important, it's essential. Data brokers are cashing in on your personal information, treating it like a commodity. Your private details are out there for anyone to buy, which can open the door to identity theft, phishing, harassment, and endless spam calls. But now, with Delete Me, you can take control and safeguard your privacy. As someone who speaks rather openly online, you think, I know all too well the risks of having personal info floating out there. And that's why I personally use Delete Me. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your private information from hundreds of data broker websites. It's not just a one-time scrub either. They're constantly on guard, monitoring and deleting the info you don't want out there. It's pretty simple. You give Delete Me a list of what you want gone, and their experts take it from there. They even send you personalized privacy reports showing what they found, where they found it, and what they removed. They do all the heavy lifting. You just get to enjoy the peace of mind. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. And now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/GOG and use promo code GOG at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/GOG and please enter code GOG at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com, code GOG. This episode is sponsored by Delete Me. All right, Grumps, let's get real for a second. We live in an age where your personal data is everyone's business, literally. Data brokers are buying, selling, and trading our private details, making us all vulnerable to identity theft, harassment, and spam. Now more than ever, privacy isn't just important, it's essential. Data brokers are cashing in on your personal information, treating it like a commodity. Your private details are out there for anyone to buy, which can open the door to identity theft, phishing, harassment, and endless spam calls. But now, with Delete Me, you can take control and safeguard your privacy. As someone who speaks rather openly online, you think, I know all too well the risks of having personal info floating out there. And that's why I personally use Delete Me. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your private information from hundreds of data broker websites. It's not just a one-time scrub either. They're constantly on guard, monitoring and deleting the info you don't want out there. It's pretty simple. You give Delete Me a list of what you want gone, and their experts take it from there. They even send you personalized privacy reports showing what they found, where they found it, and what they removed. They do all the heavy lifting. You just get to enjoy the peace of mind. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. And now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/GOG and use promo code GOG at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/GOG and please enter code GOG at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com, code GOG.
At the library.
You have been trying to search the great thinkers and things of that nature to escape the dystopia that is surrounding us right now. I am delving into quick, easy to read, fast, fun sci-fi. That is my thing.
Okay.
So I finished yet another book. I went back to the First Contact series by Peter Cawdron. I'm probably getting close to read all of them at this point.
Peter, you better hurry up, man. Brian's catching up.
Write faster, bitch. I did like this one a lot. This is another good one. He's got an impressive batting average for these good First Contact stories. I've got to say, I like him as a writer. I hope at some point he explores a more deeper, huge, long series because I enjoy his writing. And
hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man.
That's true. Just keep writing these. Never mind. Ignore me.
Yeah.
So yeah, another fun one. I like this one a lot. He explores a lot of really good ideas, and it's always a fun and quick read, which is great. And then Greg wrote in because I had finished reading Beacon 23 the other week, and he says, you reviewed the novel Beacon 23, and coincidentally, I'm watching the TV series on Paramount Plus. Just wondering if you had seen it, and if so, what you had thought of it. I forgot that this was a TV series. I remember when they announced it, and it has Lena Headey in it, who I love. But I never watched the series, and now that I've read the book, I was considering it, but then I went to the page
I was going to say
that has all the episode descriptions of the show, and they're on season 2, and they have gone so far beyond what the book actually was that not necessarily could be a bad thing. I mean, it could still be good if it's a really good series, but the ratings aren't that high, so...
Also, Brian, this is another testament to Schulmeister's law of TV series.
Yeah,
it's been canceled after season 2.
Well, it shouldn't have been more than, I'd say, a miniseries given the novel. The novel was not that in depth.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the fact that they stretched it into 2 series gives me pause as well. So I don't know, maybe I've got such a backlog of stuff to watch and read and listen to and do that I probably will never get around to this. But I did like the novel.
The Dark Side. Ha! With Dave.
Welcome to The Dark Side with Dave Bittner. Whether it's decoding all things cyber on the Cyberwire, exposing deception and tomfoolery with Joe Kerrigan on hacking humans, diving deep into privacy with Ben Yellen on Caveat, or breaking down industrial cybersecurity on Control Loop, Dave's got you covered. And don't miss his latest venture, Only Malware in the Building. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. I am on final approach to Thanksgiving, and I am happy for it. I am taking the whole week off next week, and I am ready for some rest. I am ready for a few days away. So, yep.
It's been trying recently. I guess this would be a good place to say we will not be doing a show next week, everybody. We're all taking it off for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah, not bad.
All right. Little Disney news. Star Wars Visions has been renewed for season 3. Did you guys finish season 2?
I did.
There was a season 2?
Yes. I agree with that sentiment, Dave. It is something I forget about all the time. And
right.
I'm only reminded of it because at one point it popped up when I had like a spare hour and the kid and the wife were out of the house, and I launched Disney and it shoved it in my face as one of the recommended things. And I was like, oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
And, I watched it. Yeah, they're fun. They're enjoyable. The animation style is very wildly. You can be into some and not the others. And
Yeah.
The stories, same with the stories. It's all over the place, but it's fun, it's different, and I enjoy it.
No, it's a good reminder. I'll jump back into it. It's something that my son and I like to watch together. He, in particular, enjoys the varied animation styles. So, yeah, it's a good reminder to check it out again. So I will try to do that, maybe over the winter break.
We also have the other Star Wars show starting, December 3rd, I believe? The one that has the Major Tom soundtrack. So,
yeah.
The Star Trek Goonies.
Yeah, Star Trek Goonies starts pretty soon, so I am looking forward to that as well. So we'll all be spending some time in Star Wars land for the holidays, I'm sure.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Nope. We top our Christmas tree with Grogu these days.
And I will literally be in Star Wars land at Disneyland at some point over the holidays, which I'm looking forward to as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Maybe I'll just go back and rewatch Andor, because that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Very good. So, I got two pieces here that I wanted to put in here just to harken back to the days when we talked about security on this show. We were actually talking about the new feature for Apple devices that were turning themselves off after a couple days of not hitting any kind of cell tower. Now, 404 Media put out a report that says, they're calling it the inactivity reboot feature, and it was discovered by security researcher Jiska Klassen. Did you guys talk about this on the Cyberwire, Dave?
We did. Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. So this guy actually figured it out, and the nice thing about it is it's stuff that they're not releasing to us. Like Brian said, don't tell us your playbook. We're good. We're good.
Right.
Yep.
So just following up on that. Now, after that story, another 404 Media article came out about leaked documents show what phone's secretive tech that Graykey can unlock. Now, Graykey is one of those tools that lets law enforcement break into phones. Now, long time ago on this show, I said, if I was a hacker, what I would be doing right now is getting a job at Apple to work on iOS so I could put in 0 days that I could then exploit when I left Apple to sell on the black market. I always thought that was a fine business model for an entrepreneurial young man or woman to get into.
And walks a fine line between being rich and being in a jail.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. It's
I think if you're smart
starting
enough
point for your life of crime.
Yes. I think as a starter villain, that's a perfect way to start. And if you're smart enough to go that route and think of it, then you're probably smart enough to actually get away with it, one would think. So after I see this Graykey story, I'm thinking, man, I wonder if Apple is actually training people to become double agents to go work for these companies so they can get inside and get intel on what they're doing to unlock the phone, so then pass back to Apple to block them before it actually happens, before that they can find the cracks. And I thought that would also be a fun division to work at Apple. And if they're not doing it, that's a freebie, Apple. Good, go on, get on it. Because that there's those types of shenanigans going on behind the scenes. There's too much money involved for this not to be going on, I think. That's my 2 cents. And if it's not going on, get on it, people. What kind of a boring world do you live in? Jeez.
Well, I mean, my thought here is less, I think a pretty good sci-fi writer should be using this as a jumping off point for near future fiction.
Yeah.
I would enjoy reading that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, most of my theories on this show kind of fall into that trope, but Cory Doctorow, get on it.
No, I don't think. I don't think Apple is paying people to infiltrate the companies that are creating Graykey and that sort of other thing. But I do think that they are perhaps finding ways to get their hands on the software and the equipment and see exactly what it's doing, so that they can then do workarounds and say, "Hey, hold on a second, we forgot to plug that hole, people.
Yeah,
plug the hole."
I mean, that sort of industrial espionage is definitely a thing. Back in my previous career, I worked for a company who made, let's just say, a large piece of industrial equipment that is part of the infrastructure of every office building in the world. And they had and I visited their factories and I visited their R&D lab. And one day I was in their R&D lab, and in one of the big giant rooms where they do testing, there was one of their competitors' products set up running. Yep. Mm-hmm. Now these are $100,000 devices, and they are big. And I couldn't help saying to my contact there, so what's this about? He was like, well, it's good for us to know what the competition is up to. So, we go through a third party and get them to purchase this for us. Mm-hmm. And it gets shipped to them. And then from them, we ship it to here and we take the thing apart and see exactly what's going on. So
politics, they just call that opposition research,
Right. Exactly. But, so yes, that stuff absolutely goes on. At the same time, you see lots of stories of like tech companies who are offered information on their competitors and they take it straight to the FBI because they know it's dodgy and, they shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. Yeah. So
it could be a honey trap too. Unless you are trading the guy that's going to give you the information is what I'm saying here.
We turn in every third person that brings us this type of information.
We got to throw the FBI a bone sometimes. They know what's going on. Come on.
Yeah. Well, and there's been all sorts of rumors over the years of how Apple tries to track down leakers within the organization, of, having documents be individually watermarked and fake leaks to put in certain people to see where things could be coming from. So I think that's all real as well.
I know a few people that work at Apple, and from what they've told me, the OPSEC there is no joke.
Yeah.
It is no joke. Nobody walks out of that building with anything.
Right. Right.
So,
right. Yeah. There was that. I'm trying to remember the name of the famous spy who was walking out of a secure facility like every Friday afternoon with a plant. He had like a house plant. Mm-hmm. And he was stuffing classified documents inside the planter, the pot that the plant was in, and would just walk by security every Friday with this plant.
Just taking my plant home.
Security would smile and nod, and he'd say, "Yeah, just taking the plant home. Make sure it gets watered this weekend." And then he'd bring the plant home on Monday, and it's this basic kind of thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I love that kind of stuff.
It's true. I do too. I've often thought
I appreciate the deviousness of human nature. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like for me, if you go to the trouble of a good old fashioned caper, right? Like you're breaking into a museum to steal the Hope Diamond, and you're doing things with cables and you're dodging lasers and you're all of the things that we see in movies.
See, you go that way, and I was thinking Night at the Museum, and I was like, all the shit comes alive, man. You want to go in there.
Yeah. But if you get away with your caper and you have to do all of that Hollywood kind of stuff, I think there should
You've
be
earned it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. There should be some deference that we should recognize. A caper well done and the cleverness, as long as nobody gets hurt,
Yeah. There's not enough movies about the good old fashioned cat burglar nowadays,
Yeah.
I like that stuff. And I really like, watching The Americans and seeing what the spies were doing there. I mean, if I was in DC, I would spend all my free weekends at the Spy Museum. That's the kind of stuff I love. Mm-hmm. Love that stuff.
So I think the way this could work to all of our favor, and we could actually have this in real life, is we should have an army of criminals that basically break into all the British museums, steal the stuff, and take it back to the countries the British originally stole it from, and then we'd all be okay with it.
Right.
There we go.
Right. You have an international group of cat burglars whose job it is to repatriate all the stuff that the British Museum stole. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Day by day, the British Museum gets a little less interesting. I like it. I put the thing in here. I wanted to note that in this past week or so, one of the co-creators of the basic computer programming language passed away. Mm-hmm. Thomas Kurtz was 96 years old. He was a professor at Dartmouth, worked on computers there, and was one of the two folks responsible for BASIC. And I wanted to check in with the two of you to find out, because both of you have way more programming experience than I do, way more experience with more modern languages. Mm-hmm. And I was curious, to what degree, if any, in your younger days, had you crossed paths with BASIC, and was it at all foundational to setting you on your path?
Absolutely.
110%.
Yeah. First thing I ever did on a computer was learn BASIC. Yep.
Yeah, the BASIC manual came with the IBM XT that we got when I was a kid. Remember the old IBM manuals? They were like, just monotone, but the binders were made of cloth. They were really nice. And then they were 3-ring binders, made it really easy to read. And I read the BASIC manual and learned BASIC from that.
Yeah, and I had a computer class, I think, starting even in junior high school, which was pretty advanced at that point in time. Nobody was really doing that, but we had a computer lab, a couple computers, and it was basically an option that you could take if you wanted to, and I, of course, did. And I vividly remember building, coding basically a dragon that breathed fire in like little pixels with BASIC. Totally remember that. Yeah.
High school, 1989. For me, I wrote a BASIC program on an Apple, actually, that drew a bird, which it was like an original composition. I built out the bird in code and wrote that, and then it won the high school award for best artwork of the year. So I won an award from my BASIC programming back in the day.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, I started with a TRS-80 when I was 11, I guess, and just kept, pounding away on that thing all through my teen years. And actually, I got paid to create a package in BASIC when I was in high school for a local business that was kind of foundational to them running. It was this labeling database system, and I don't know. It sounds very uninteresting, and to anyone who wasn't in this business, it was. But for them, it was kind of game changing, and just the fact that I wrote it in BASIC and it worked was just amazing. The other thing that I want to touch on, though, is that I feel like BASIC is underappreciated, but also it's become fashionable for folks to look down their noses at it. And again, getting back to the fact that the two of you moved on to much more advanced languages, is my perception of that accurate, that these days people just kind of poo-poo BASIC?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's programming. People poo-poo any language they don't use.
Yeah.
Or sometimes languages you use, like Perl. Fuck that thing.
Well, yeah, that was horrible. But I mean, to be fair, like things have moved on a lot from BASIC. I can't think of a modern application that you would go, you know what language would be perfect for this? BASIC.
BASIC.
Right. It is a good teaching tool, I still think, for programming, because it is so simplistic. It is a way to understand core programming concepts, for sure, at a very easy way and at very young ages. But could you get hired anywhere knowing BASIC anymore? No.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
maybe a computer museum,
maybe
teaching kids on the weekend,
or running the nuclear facilities with those 5 1/4-inch discs.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah, it seems to me like even for kids, things have moved on to be much more object oriented, and the whole fact that BASIC was what do they call it, runtime encoded, and it's just slow. It's just slow, but we didn't know it was slow.
Well, it wasn't slow then.
Right.
Everything else was just as slow.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
I got to say though, if I had the option of learning object-oriented programming to start with, instead of doing procedural to start with, and then like trying to change your brain after years of procedural and then moving into OOP programming, I would definitely say start with object-oriented programming, because it's such a change of gears.
100%
go from one to
agreed.
the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So the kids definitely have a leg up nowadays with that. So they can just start with object-oriented right out of the gate, which highly recommended.
Okay. Yeah. It's good to know. All right. Well, beyond that, it's about all I have. I'm curious, do you guys have any particular Thanksgiving traditions as we're coming up on that holiday? Any?
Eat, sleep, poop.
Yeah.
I used to have, my family back in Southern California when I was younger was a very big group, cousins, aunts, uncles, all kinds of people, like 20, 30 some odd people would be at Thanksgivings. And over the years that, of course, dwindled either through people passing away, and most of my cousins moved out of state. And now I've eventually moved out as well. So I'm in Toronto now. And so we don't really have much. We've started a tradition here doing Canadian Thanksgiving. I end up kind of cooking almost everything because my wife is Chinese Canadian, and they did not have I don't think they had even ate a turkey before I showed up and started making all that, and everybody enjoys it. So I have a good time making Thanksgiving dinner here for my wife's family, side of the family, and we do that. And we don't go home for Thanksgiving anymore to my mom for American Thanksgiving, just because it's so close to Christmas and it's just too much with school and everything like that. So, my sister still goes down to see my mom with her kids, and we'll call them and, FaceTime them and all that sort of stuff when everybody's there. But the traditions have kind of changed over the years, and I still look fondly upon them and miss them, the big family stuff and all that. But time moves on,
Yeah, it's true. I remember growing up, we would often alternate between my family hosting Thanksgiving for us and all the cousins and so on. And then going to a cousin's house to have Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. I remember one cousin's house we would go to, there'd always be a touch football in the backyard. As part
we played jarts.
Jarts, of course you did.
In what will surprise nobody, we would go to Disneyland.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Gee, what should we do today? I don't know. How about we walk down the street to Disneyland? Oh, good idea.
It was usually the Friday, because, Thanksgiving would be Thursday. We would have the big meal and with all the family and everything like that. And then the Friday would just be, a couple friends, a few family members. We all go to Disneyland. Yeah.
Yeah. The main thing we've changed lately, and we've talked about this before here, is that we have jettisoned the tradition of having a turkey, and now we go with a roast instead, because it just tastes better. Everybody likes it more.
Yeah, we do ham when we celebrate the American Thanksgiving here now.
Yeah.
So it's just a small ham for my wife and my kid. Although I just had a flash of memory, so thank you for this, Dave. I totally forgot about this. What we did is, as I got older, like into my teens and all that sort of thing, is we would do the Thanksgiving dinner with our families and everything like that. And once that was done, I would get together with my friends and we went bowling every year. That was our Thanksgiving tradition. The friend groups would get together after the family stuff and we would all go bowling. I totally forgot about that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Now you just reminded me, after Thanksgiving dinner when I was at my dad's house in Chicago for maybe 5 or 6 years, they don't do it anymore because, like you said, everybody moves away or does whatever. But we used to have a interfamily chess tournament.
Nice.
Oh,
so we had like 5 chess boards.
Nerds.
Yep, exactly. Spread them around the room, and we'd all play chess.
Right.
And then we'd program in BASIC.
Right. No, we had touch football. Actually, horseshoes was a thing too. Did you guys ever play horseshoes? Are you familiar with that?
We had jarts, like I said. Why would you play horseshoes when you have jarts?
Yeah, horseshoes not really big in Southern California, gotta say.
No, and I think what's it called? What's the thing with the bean bags?
Cornhole.
Cornhole. Thank you. Yeah, cornhole has replaced horseshoes with fewer injured shins.
Yeah. Well, also in Thanksgiving in Chicago, you're not going outside to play anything. You're going to stay inside and play chess with some cocoa. Or eggnog.
Yeah, that makes sense. I still like getting up on Thanksgiving morning and watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I still get a little misty when Santa, makes his appearance, and I just don't know why. I like it. And then usually we switch over to the Walt Disney World Parade.
Right.
It's just, and then family starts showing up, and that's that.
Off to the races.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, I wish you guys both the best for this coming Thanksgiving. It'd be nice to have a little break, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
All right. Have a good one, Dave.
Enjoy that roast.
I will.
Closing shout outs.
Over at Patreon, we've got some new subscribers, Gerard, Juan, M, and Paul. And a thank you to our existing donors, Sarah, Thomas, James, Mark, Marios, Mike, Corey, Derek, Liz, and Paul. Thank you all so much. And just a reminder for people out there, Patreon, at least for a minimum of $3 a month, you get the shows early, ad-free, and in high definition. So get on that. And if you want to pay for the whole year, you get 5% off. What you waiting for?
All right. I agree. Over at PayPal, we've got Andrew, Sloan, Tom, Joseph, and Timothy, who gave us a big old $100. And I think he told us about it on Discord, but on Discord, he has a crazy ass name that isn't Timothy. So I have no idea if that's actually you or not. So I'm gonna assume
stolen valor going on.
Sloppy Fart 42 is also Timothy. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. So.
All right, over the tip jar, we've got Eric, Sean, and Ross. And we've got a new list. We got a bunch of people that bought some merch from us this week. Head over at shop.gog.show. We've got Angela, Brian, Michael, James, and Nathan.
Well, thank you. Thank you all so much. Send pictures of you and your gear. Yeah,
exactly.
All right.
Come on. See that swag in the wild.
And no reviews this week. Again, I guess you're all preparing for Thanksgiving. Lazy.
Boo. I got a quick shout out to Schmactors, that show I did with Mark Devine and James Marsters from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Mm-hmm. We've been slaving away in the studio for season 2. I think we're hanging out tomorrow, and I think we're gonna do a holiday special to keep the wheels going, because it's just fun. It's a fun show. So link for that'll be in the show notes if you want to get caught up on season 1. And keep an eye out for that. So with that, happy Thanksgiving, Brian, even though you already had Canadian Thanksgiving a while back.
Happy Thanksgiving number 2 for me. Happy Thanksgiving for you. We will not be doing a holiday episode, so just a reminder to everybody, we are off next week, so we can enjoy a little downtime. So there you go.
All right, until next time, I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister. Thanks for tuning in to Grumpy Old Geeks. Dive into the show notes and all the links from today's episode at gog.show/675. Feeling generous? Keep this top-notch entertainment rolling by dropping us a few bucks at gog.show/donate. Every bit helps. Spread the grumpiness. There's a share button in every podcast player out there. Use it to share the show with friends, foes, and everyone in between, and we'll be forever grateful. Got that annoying uncle that shows up with conspiracy theories? Tell him about our show. It'll piss him off. Head over to gog.show to find the link to our Discord channel and chat with us and other show fans. Got something to say? Send your feedback, comments, or awesome links to gog.show/contact. Show us some love. Leave a review at gog.show/review. A 5-star rating might just get your review right on the air. Stay grumpy and try not to take a nap right after Thanksgiving. It's bad for you. Go walk. Do something.
Play jarts.